And let's talk about the Expendables. Now, I will have to say this. The Expendables, I've always liked the idea of like bringing some of my favorite movie action stars from like the 80s and 90s in one movie together. And I felt like with the first two Expendable movies, Sylvester Stallone was able to accomplish that when he brought in Dolph Lundgren, when he brought in well, I never looked at Terry Crews as an action star, but they brought him in there. Randy Couture was another one. Even though he's been doing a lot of action movies post the Expendables, it was good. It was cool to see him up in the films as well. Dolph Lundgren, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the late Chuck Norris, the lot, so on and so forth. But also, I think even back since 2012, there was always talk of them doing a female version, which I was actually here for. Because, when it comes to me, I love action movies. Particularly, I love watching female driven action films. And we've been getting a couple of those over the years. So there has always been talk about it for a long time. Like I said, since 2012. Now, that whole story went cold. I forgot about it, out of sight, out of mind. Now there's word going around that they're revisiting this idea, which currently is being called the Expendables, and of course Belles, female. So yeah, they're that's where they kind of been going with that. I think they mentioned this at Cannes, if I'm not mistaken, because whenever you all start hearing, oh, they gave this movie an 8-minute standing ovation, a 7-minute standing ovation, a 10-minute. I'm like, okay. I feel like y'all just be phoning all that in. Like, let's see how long we can sit up here and just do this over a movie. Even if the movie sucks, I think y'all just be standing up there just doing this shit. So they're revisiting the idea again, and if you have a good way of coming up with a great script or whatever the case is, I'll say I'm here for it. So a while back there were rumblings about a female-fronted spinoff of Sylvester Stallone's The Expendables franchise entitled The Expendables. The decade-old concept eventually died on the vine with little more than a loose plot about female operatives who had to pose as call girls to rescue a nucleus. Okay, that sounds like a horrible idea. I gotta pose as prostitutes to rescue a nuclear scientist from being held hostage. I don't want to sound like a contemporary, or as some of y'all like to say, woke, but why always got to be resorting to, okay, I have to be a whore in order to slither into some shit. Let them do some covert stuff. You don't always have to. It doesn't always have to resort to being a prostitute or something sexual in order for people to not, pay women any mind while they're off doing their little infiltrative stuff. So, they so okay, so it was Cannes Film Festival. I forgot it always is around in May. It says it's still popping off in France. And as news continues to leak from the annual fest, we're hearing that the Expendables is back on the table. So wait, hold on. I gotta check something because I'm like, is my audio on? No, it's not. It's not actually using, so I had to check that. Okay, we're good. Now this says back in 2014, Legally Blonde Helmer Robert Luketic, I think is how you say his name, Luketic, was said to direct a version penned by the film scribes Kristen Smith and Karen McCullough for Millennium Films that was to center on female operatives who had the poses. Okay, now y'all had women writing this shit. I'm like, that makes it even worse. That version never came to fruition, and nearly a decade later, Millennium's Jeffrey Greenstein told The Hollywood Reporter that one of the challenges with getting that project off the ground was trying to find a way to justify why we'd have a woman team. They said the first Expendables starred Stallone alongside the likes of Jason Statham, Jet Li, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, Steve Austin, Terry Crews, Mickey Rourke, and more. Bruce Willis, Liam Hemsworth, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Harrison Ford, Wesley Snipes, Mel Gibson, Glenn Powell, Antonio Banderas, Victor Ortiz, and others turned up in later installments, which is why they mentioned 3 and 4, because 3 and 4 sucked. Now, but Eclectic and HVG think they found a way forward with the project, part of a new feature slate of globally commercial films they are developing together, which was unveiled Friday at the Cannes Film Festival, where producers are in talks with distribution partners, financiers, and creative talent. Per the news, Expendables will serve as an origin story set in the late 90s, during the height of Y2K tension and geopolitical uncertainty. The newly reimagined project, originally conceived more than a decade ago, alongside Millennium by Heidi Jo Marco, Patrick Muldoon, and Julie Kroll, plans to introduce a new generation of elite female operatives in a stylized, action driven cinematic event designed to expand the mythology of the franchise while standing firmly on its own. The filmmakers tell THR that. Adding that it is moving forward with the support of Lionsgate after all the studio acquired the rights to the Expendables franchise late last year. Expendables will be produced by, okay, well, I don't think we care about who it's going to be produced by, but it says, because we don't know these people. Now it said, we are thrilled to finally bring Expendables to life alongside their incredible partners at Hollywood Ventures Group, who share their passion for reimagining the property on a much larger cinematic scale. There has always been a strong global appetite for female driven action franchises, and we believe the time is now to introduce a bold new generation of elite operatives into this universe. What excites us most is the opportunity to elevate the material by pairing it with top tier creative talent and delivering a fresh, styled, adrenaline fueled experience for worldwide audiences. Well, look, if they can find a way to make a female driven Expendables version come out, I'm here for it. I don't think that we need to resort to them having to be prostitutes in order to have something to do. But if y'all can, and maybe the reason why it was like, but we couldn't figure out how a way to make women work in this whole situation. Maybe it's just the fact that put it in that a lot of times women aren't taken seriously in these government operative roles. You always want to put men before the women. So we had to go and create our own little elite squad of female operatives in order to get things done, to do the things that these other groups and elite people didn't want to do. So you can just do something like that. I mean, and then play in the whole thing of matriarchy versus the patriarchy. I know some people gonna get mad over that, like, well, fit strong female, da, 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 da. But I'm like, there are women out here that'll do more than you men will do. So play into that whole thing. I know people don't want to touch it because they feel like, oh, you're being woke and you're trying to do this, you're trying to do that. And it's like, well, if y'all wasn't running out here acting like women was beneath you, we wouldn't have to go and use this as an anchor or an angle. So, in regards to that, I did pick my. Oh, they were talking about the 355. First of all, I like the idea of that film, but that movie was not good at all. Um, Now, I'd say this is a long overdue idea, and I'm glad that they're actually revisiting this. And like I said before, I love the first two Expendable movies. I didn't particularly care for three and four, but a female driven action franchise is, I feel like, something that is long overdue and needs to happen because I mean I like a lot of female driven stuff. Anything Charlize Theron is the lead in and she doing action, I'm gonna be there to watch it. It was always how Dana comes out and does something and she's at the forefront doing action stuff. I'm watching. You know, I watch anything with Mila Jovovich. I watch anything with Kate Beckinsale, even if it's not good. I'll be in there watching it because it's giving me that whole vibe of, oh yeah, Resident Evil, all the other stuff, Kate Beckinsale with Celine and Underworld and her doing all these other action things. And just seeing that whole play out, well, that whole play out. I ain't say whole. But seeing that whole thing play out, I think it will be it'd be great, but I did put a list together of women I would like to see in this whole thing in some capacity. I don't know, do it what you will, but I do feel like if you're gonna do somebody that's gonna be like the Barney role, and Barney was the Sylvester Stallone, I'm saying you ought to put Sigourney Weaver in that part. I want to see her as the lead. She can do that whole thing because she's still out here doing action movies in some capacity. She was just in this movie called Dust Bunny, which I actually which I liked. So yeah, I have Sigourney Weaver, and then if you want to have somebody do like the Jason Statham role, I'm not saying you have to cast it exactly like that, the whole situation. But if you have your lead and your co-lead, I would say Sigourney Weaver and even Angelina Jolie, because I do like watching Angelina Jolie in action movies. I kind of wish she would come back and do more of them, but she ain't really been out here acting. She's just been out here trying to make Brad Pitt's life a living damn hell. So we got Sigourney Weaver, Angelina Jolie, Zoe Saldana, Helen Mirren, Michelle Rodriguez, Charlize Theron, Pam Grier. Well, Pam looks swollen out here in these streets. I just seen a recent photo of her. Uma Thurman, Mila Jovovich, Kate Beckinsale, Linda Hamilton, Michelle Yeoh, Lucy Liu, Denai Guerrera, Lucy Lawless, Ana de Armas, Zhang Ziyi, Angela Bassett. Yes, I remember seeing Angela Bassett when she was in Strange Days. I loved her in that role. I want to see her do more action. Katie Sackhoff and Tilda Swinton could play the lead villain. So those are my choices so far. I know some people probably bring up some old school action stars like Cynthia Rothrock or somebody like that. That might be interesting if you all were to bring her up in the situation. But yeah, so um good luck to you on this film. I know some people were like, for why? Why do we need a female expendables type situation? And maybe that movies in America they don't do well, but on a global scale, there is an appetite for this. And America is not always the end all be all litmus test to everything that's popping out in these streets. Because quiet as it's kept, it's like we almost losing our identity in regards of having our finger on the pulse of what's going on in pop culture. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you here for a female version of the Expendables or Expendables called the Expendables? I don't know if they'll actually go with that name or they'll change it, but since they own the rights, Lionsgate does, they can call it whatever the hell they want. And who would you like to see as part? Because they're talking about new people. I'm like, who out here is new that could play up the whole action thing? Like, I mean, unless you was redoing Charlie's Angels, then y'all could do that. But who would you like to see in this whole role as like old school, next old generation, new generation, everybody in between? So let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below.